Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, I'm Tyler Evans. It's my channel. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the beginning of the recruitment process of joining the military and the ASVAB. Let's get right into it. So, first things first. I don't know why I said that. So once I figured out that I wanted to join the military, I did some research, figured out that it was the right branch for me and that I actually did want to do this. Make sure that you're kind of positive about joining or somewhat positive, because once you start the process, it's kind of hard to stop. Well, it's not like hard to stop, but it's like, what I did first is I went to airforce.com and I put in my contact information so that my nearest recruiter could contact me and set up an appointment, because you have to have an appointment to talk to someone. And it was like the next day that someone contacted me, and here where I'm from, we have, like, my nearest recruitment station is like 10 minutes from my house, so it's not bad at all. And so the next day I went in, and first thing that she did was take my height and weight, because there are requirements in the military and you can only do so, like, weigh so much, and when you're a certain height and everything. So they want to make sure that if you don't meet the standard, that if you don't meet the standards, that by the end of the recruitment process you are physically fit, or you've lost weight or gained weight, whatever the situation is. So I did that, and then she had me take a practice at ASVAB, since I've never taken it before. Some people take it in high school, and if you have, then they'll look at your scores then, and sometimes they'll make you take it again. It just depends on how smart you are, I guess. I don't know. I never took the ASVAB before, so I took a practice one, and it was a mini one. It was like only 30 minutes. And so I did that, and I did terrible. I made like a 42. I was like stressed out. I was like, oh my gosh, am I not going to be good for the military, or am I not going to be smart enough to take the ASVAB? So what she had me do is, after, like, she asked me, like, my interest and why I wanted to be in the military and all the good stuff, she sent me back home for like about 2 more weeks and told me to study. And we made like an appointment for me to go. No, we didn't. Never mind. We made another appointment for me to go in and take another practice ASVAB 2 weeks after my first appointment. So I got to go home and study and actually have a look at what the ASVAB was going to look like and what kind of questions were going to be on there. I just Googled, like, practice ASVAB test, and a bunch of stuff popped up, and it helped me out a lot. So I did that, and then when it was time for me to go and to see my recruiter again and take a practice ASVAB, I did very well. After that, we set up an appointment to go to MEPS. My nearest MEPS station is in Dallas, so I would have to, like, first I drove myself, so I drove myself over there to Dallas and to take the real ASVAB, and the real ASVAB is like 3 hours long, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, it was 3 hours long. So I drove over there, and when you enter the building, it's like this whole, they have like security and all that. And so I went in and did the security and went up to the floor where it's the military entrance processing station. That's what MEP stands for. And I told him that the first guy I saw, before I even said anything, he said, first things first, take out your nose ring, because you can't have like tattoos or piercings on your face or anything like that. So I had to take out my nose ring. I was like, damn, great first impression, Tyler. I got there really early, so I just kind of sat there and waited. And while I was waiting, there were people who were being shipped out, and there were like families crying and stuff. And I was just thinking to myself, man, this is going to be me in a few months, or however long it's going to take me to ship out, because at the time I didn't know. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, am I going to cry for these families right now? And so anyways, back to the point. When it was time for me to take my ASVAB, there was a bunch of us who lined up, and they had to take our picture and get our fingerprints and stuff. And yeah, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I took my ASVAB. I was done within like 3 hours. There are questions about math, science, shops and auto, mechanics, electrical, paragraph comprehension, vocabulary. It's a giant like STAR test or tax test if you ever took those in like high school, which I'm sure you did. It's just everyone calls them a different thing depending on like what state you're from. So anyways, I ended up doing really well, and I got the score that I needed to be qualified for the job that I wanted. So that's all that I really cared about for the score. Yeah, it's whatever. It's fine. It was still, it wasn't great, but it was good. So it's okay. And then after that, I sent a picture of my grade to my recruiter, and she called me, and she was like, okay, well, now we get to talk about jobs that you're available for, and we can set up a time and play, not time and place, but just a time to go to MEPS and get your physical done. And so after that, it was time for me to go to MEPS to get my physical, and I'm going to talk about that in a whole nother video because that is such a long story and a long topic to talk about because a lot goes on at MEPS. So this video, I just really wanted to talk about how I started the recruitment process and the ASVAB thing. So the ASVAB thing. My advice to you is before you take your ASVAB, make sure you take practice tests and that you actually really study, because if not, you're gonna blow it. And you can take it again, but I think like if you fail, then you have to wait like maybe 30 days. No. You can schedule another appointment. If you fail, then you have to wait 30 days. If you fail again, then you have to wait like 6 months. And so you want to knock it out the first time, because if you want to leave it, like I know I didn't want to wait any longer because I wanted to leave as soon as possible, like get all the processing done and over with. And so I wanted to make sure that I got a good grade at first, and that's why I studied my butt off all day, every day for 2 weeks straight. And it worked. All that hard work paid off. Practice tests were great. If I can find the links that I used, I'll link them down in the description box below so that if you are joining or thinking about joining, you can kind of get a heads up of what the ASVAB is going to look like, how hard it's going to be, and where to get started. So yeah, if y'all have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below and I will get to them. I promise I will, and I'll answer them in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good day. Yeah, don't know what else to say. See ya guys, bye. Okay, so I forgot to mention in this video that once I forgot to mention that once I gave my information in airforce.com and my recruiter contacted me, before we made an appointment, she emailed me this like 2 or 3 page paper, and it's like a medical screening, and you have to answer a bunch of questions like, do you have asthma? Do you have diabetes? Do you suffer from anxiety and depression? You have to answer that before you make an appointment and go and talk to your recruiter, because once you get there at your first appointment, she's going to go over with you like if there's anything that, like if you have anxiety and depression, that might be a problem before you join the military. Like they're going to question you and suggest that you speak to a therapist, their therapist in the military at MEPS in Dallas. So my advice to you is don't answer yes to anything that like you might have if it isn't important, because for me, I had anxiety and depression years and years ago. I'm over it. I don't take medicine for it anymore. So when they ask me that question, I put no, because I have a history of it, but I'm not going to tell them that because it's not relevant anymore, and I don't want to waste my time talking to a doctor. So, but if it's important, like if you have asthma, obviously say that, because they're going to, once you're in, they're going to have to like prescribe you an inhaler and stuff, and you don't want to be dying at basic training, do you? Didn't think so. So yeah, that's an important thing I forgot to mention, so